Hi everyone, this is Sai Vignan Malayala. So today I'll be discussing on the concept of word to work in NLP. Okay. Okay. So what is word to work? It's a basic NLP concept which helps you to convert your text input into vector format. So basically, in any machine learning or deep learning algorithms, you can apply you can give any type of numeric input, but machine learning or deep learning algorithms do not accept text directly. So we need some kind of numerical representation using which algorithms can process the data. So that is how word2vec can help. So it helps you to uh, represent the text in a numerical format, storing the semantic information and process the data. Okay, and represent the numerical format. So in simple machine learning algorithm, we use count vectorizers or TF-IDF or both, right, to give it as an input to the machine learning algorithm. But these TF-IDF or count vectorizer methodologies do not preserve any semantic understanding or any relationship between the words. It will not capture the relationship between the words at all. Okay, so this is where word embeddings come into picture. Okay, so what word embeddings do? They help you to map all the given words in a language in a vector space for a given dimension. So word2vec is a popular method of word embeddings. So where we convert word into vectors. So multiple operations like adding, subtracting, multiplying are used between the word embeddings, or calculate distances are used between the words, and so the relationship between the words are preserved in the concept of word embeddings. Okay, the famous example in of the applications of word2vec was when they implemented word2vec on a good corpus, um, and try to get the semantic understanding. A sample example, a famous example occurred like king vector minus man vector plus queen, sorry, plus woman vector gave the output vector as queen. So this is how the word embeddings, the sample word2vec can store the semantic understanding of the words and give you the outputs. Okay, so word2vec doesn't involve much of deep learning actually. It is just a two-layered neural network. Okay, it's a just two-layered neural network. So by using word embeddings in deep learning, it enhances the results the better with its features. Okay, so word2vec lack of word embeddings in the real time help you to enhance the results a lot in deep learning algorithms. That's why its popularity has increased over time. Okay, fine. So this is the concept of word2vec. I hope I was clear with the concept, what it is and why it is used. Okay, summarize: the machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms doesn't take text directly, so we need to show it in a numerical format. So we use word2vec for that. We could also use count vectorizer and TF-IDF type of methodologies to implement that, but TF-IDF or count vectorizer don't store the semantic information or the relationship between the words. Word2vec, which is a popular word embedding methodology, helps you to understand the vector data and the relationship between the vector data, relationship between the text and the semantic information, and helps you to enhance your deep learning results. Okay, so how does it work now? Fine, the concept is so clear, but how does it work now? Okay, so it's a simple concept again. So words occurring in similar contexts will have similar embeddings. That is how it will work if you say in short. So if suppose there are two examples, like words occurring in similar contexts will have similar embeddings. So if I give an example, like example like a kid says he will become a superhero. Okay. And second, and you can also say one more sentence. A child says he will become a superhero. So based on these two sentences, what can you say? Kid and child, right, could have similar vectors because the context of these two words based on the surrounding words seem similar. So based on the context, these two words can have similar vector, not same vector but similar vector or nearby vectors. You can say kid and child are near to each other. These words are near to each other based on the input corpus. Okay. Okay. So that is how it works. Okay. I hope that was clear how it is working. The sample example shows it all. So here it is just one example I gave. So word to vec doesn't occur only with one word or something. It takes every word in the corpus and tries to find the similar context and similar vectors and give you the similar understanding of the words. Okay, fine. So there are two approaches. And word to vec in general. Okay, one is CBOW model. It is continuous bag of words model, and the second is skip-gram model. Okay, so simple. CBOW model and skip-gram model. But what is the difference? Okay, so what is the difference? CBOW, continuous bag of words model. Here, in this methodology, we predict target word from the context. Okay, so I'll explain. We predict target word from the context. So I'll give an example. So the famous again example, like commonly used ones. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. So it's a sentence. I'm just splitting it into 3 lines to explain some example. So here, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The sentence is this actually. Okay. In CBOW model, the surrounding words, the quick brown fox over the lazy dog, tries to predict the center word called jumps based on the context. So that's why I was just trying to show this. So the quick brown fox, every word in the context in the sentence takes the context. The quick brown fox over the lazy dog tries to predict the center word called jumps. So this happens with every word here. The surrounding words try to predict the center word or the next word or the previous word or the center word or between word. Okay, so every word altogether is trying to predict the center word. So that is what I was saying. We predict the target word from the context. If you take this as the context, this is the target word it's trying to predict. The quick brown fox and the over the lazy dog is the context. Then this is trying to predict the target word called jumps. That is how CBOW model works. Okay, and how does skipgram model work? Okay, here we predict the context based on the target word. Okay, so here it is a ulta, or the other way around. Gems is a single word trying to predict the quick brown fox over the lazy dog. So here the target word is trying to predict the context. So that is how skipgram model works. So there are two approaches, CBOW and skipgram. CBOW, the context, okay, is trying to predict the target word, each of the target words, and in skipgram the target words are trying to predict the context words. Okay, that is how these approaches work. Hope that is clear. And each of them has its own advantages. CBOW model works pretty good based on the based on the implementations on small number of small data. CBOW model works in small better and small data and on less epochs. Skipgram model works better on large data. If you keep on increasing the data, CBOW model will decrease the accuracy, but Skipgram model will increase the accuracy of predictions, of right predictions, of target words and all. Okay, so if you are working with large data, increasing the data, then skipgram model works better. Small data, CBOW model works better. And epochs also, if there are high epochs, skipgram is okay. Slow epochs, CBOW is okay. So that is how you could check the working of word2vec. I hope this was clear based on the understanding of word2vec or the word embeddings of word2vec. Now we'll go on to the architecture side on how it is actually working. Going on to the actual inside working of the neural network in word2vec, how it works is, suppose I take an example, a sentence like uh, mm, build your memories. Sorry, there's a good quote I'm just remembering. Die with memories than dreams, or not dreams, something like this. So if I say this is my corpus, complete corpus. Okay, so if how word vector is trying to predict the center word, so I'll go with the CBOW approach. How CBOW works internally with the neural network understanding. So what it does is, it is suppose we have all this corpus, so we will try to predict die with memories, suppose. Okay, so with is a center word and die and memories are the context words. So in CBOW model, so we have to choose a window size can be 3. So the first window is this, and second window is second window is this, and third window is this, right? So if the window size is 3, then it can be like this. So considering the window size is 3, we will try to predict the context words. So if the window size is 3, this is my first input, and the context words die and memory should predict with. So it has to iterate over the window, first window, second window, third window, and try to predict this context target words based on the context. Thus, that is how CBOW works. So firstly, if I just see my whole corpus is that, suppose this only sentence, whole corpus. So it will take the one hot encoder, like die is like 1000, and memories has 01. Okay, one hot encoding basically. Die is this one, memories is this one. Okay, so this is my input one hot encoder vector, so which is taken randomly, and I I am trying to predict with these two words. So I update my weights. Suppose my vector size is 3. Suppose I consider my vector size as 3. So then I'll multiply my input vector with the weights. So weights. So this is what 5 cross 1, right? 5 cross 1 matrix. I mean, this is also 5 cross 1. So my hidden layer, my weights will be having 5 cross 3 and 5 cross 3, and then I'm trying to predict my hidden layer will be 3 cross 1, and again my input layer will again predict something called 5 cross 1 and 5 cross 3. So that is how it will multiply, and these are the weights, these are the output weights, these are the input weights, and then using softmax function I'll try to predict can, the word called can. Okay, so this is die, and this is memories. So in my neural network, these two inputs are taken, multiplied with the random weights, and including the hidden layer, it will try to give the output weights and try to predict something called can. Okay, so and this is my predicted word, predicted vector. It can be anything, like x, x y z or whatever. Okay, and then this weight, this output will be compared with my actual can. What is my actual can? 0 1 0 0, right? Sorry, not can, sorry, with. So I'm trying to predict die memory with, die memory with, and my actual the vector I got for this is xvbsj, but the actual vector for width is 0 1 0 0. So what it will do, it will compare this, go back, recorrect the weights, and update my vectors, and again come up with new prediction, and again update, and finally it will try to update with the correct width, which can be anything, and which can be anything, and it will give me a weight matrix like W01, W02, W03 or whatever. Okay, this weight matrix, when I multiply with the die or width or memories, gives me the actual width. Okay, and then the next word, and then next word. So these context words are iterated over the next possibilities, or shared with the next context words. Based on that, it is trying to produce center word. So this is how the neural network in the word-to-vec performs and gives you the actual predictions. So it is just taking random inputs, random weights, and then trying to predict the actual word. If it is wrong, based on the cost function, it is minimizing the cost, updating it weight, and again predicting, again minimizing the cost function, again operating weights, and finally forming a good weight vector by which you can decide on the actual working word-to-vec vectors. So that is how word-to-vec CBOW works. The concept of skipgram is same, but the input is not 2 here, it's only 1, because you have width, and with using width you will try to predict die and memory. So you have input as width, and you have random weights, and you are trying to predict die and memories, and again you will update weights, and again if it is improper, the cost, then again you will minimize the cost, update the weights, and again try to predict 2 more. So the concept is pretty simple. The approach varies. Okay, CBOW is faster, skipgram is very slow in working with, and the second thing is CBOW works very good with small data, skipgram works very good with large data, and for high dimension data, skipgram is good. For low dimension data, CBOW is good. So by default, in general, people prefer 100 or 200 or 300 dimensions. While working with the skip, word to work, and the number of epochs can be varying based on the input, and the window size also can be varying. If you can choose window size as 3, that's fine. 5, fine. 10, that depends on the input you want to provide. So you can just check on the random window sizes and work with it. And the Python implementation, I will go on to discuss the Python implementation of Word2Vec using Gensim library. So Gensim is a good library in Python, which is also integrated with working with deep learning algorithms and text embeddings. So I'll show you the working of Word2Vec on a sample data using Gensim library. So let me consider some sample sentences now. So let me put it in the format as Gensim requires. So the first sentence, uh, okay, otherwise let me copy it from somewhere, some random good sentences. So COVID is a pandemic. Uh, and I can say COVID COVID arrived in India in January. And I can say the other sentence is uh, COVID uh, has spread to 5 lakh in India. And the last sentence is like kind of India is worldwide fourth position in terms of COVID pandemic. Okay, so I just wrote 4 sentences randomly. I'm just checking out that. Okay, let me add some more. result of pandemic. Okay, so I just took 4 sentences. If you want to see, you can see. Yeah, I just took 4 sentences. It's COVID, pandemic, India, you know, uh, all these things. Okay. Now I'll develop a word to work model with these sentences. Okay. Let me import the word to work model. Gensim dot models import word to work. Okay, model equal to word to work of sentences and minimum count. So minimum count of words should be, you can specify the minimum number of, because you might have a corpus of 100 million words or something, so you can't take into consideration every unique word, right? There are 100 million words and you can't consider every unique word, so you can give minimum count, like, at least you can consider the word if the minimum count of this word occurrence is like 5 times or 10 times or 2 times or 3 times or something. So here my corpus is very small, only 4 sentences. I'll just keep minimum count is one. One is sufficient because I don't have any much no repetitive words here. I mean much of repeated words. So minimum count is equal to one. Okay, and yes, it has run. My model has run very fast. Small data print model. So yeah, the vocab is 21. Size is 100 dimensions and alpha rate is 0.025. Okay. So let me see the words, and the words equal to list of model dot word vectors dot vocab. Yeah, so these are all the words on which my word to vec model is formed. Okay, in order. If I just say I want to get the vectors, so then just say model of something like COVID. So the vector for the word COVID is this model of the vector for pandemic. So this is a vector for the word pandemic. Okay. So that is how you could get the vectors. So my word to vec model has been formed with the semantic understanding based on the surrounding words of my 4 given sentences, and I got the vectors which have understood semantically. Okay, so let me visualize this so that you can understand where are my vectors and which words are closer to each other. Based on my corpus, you can identify which words are closer to each other. So that is what I'll try to implement and show you. So just like visualization. Okay, so I'll just take something like x and model of uh, I think already did this model dot um, word vectors dot vocab. Okay, sorry, it's a square bracket, right? See, I got all my vectors into x. Okay, so let me use PCA to show my transformations. Okay, from sklearn, let me install sklearn if I'm not sure. Pip3 install sklearn. It's not installed, so I'm installing now. It's done. So from sklearn dot decomposition, okay, import PCA. It is imported. It's here. So I'll also import matplotlib for my visualization from matplot lib import pyplot. So pyplot as plt. So now it is done. I imported all the necessary things. So now I do PCA equal to PCA of so we require number of components in PCA, right? So and components equal to, let us keep obviously 2. So the result is equal to PCA dot fit transform of x. X is my all the vectors of the model. Okay, and if I just say now, okay, x is, oh, seems like my model is gone. Yeah, it's not gone. Yeah, so my PCA is forming, I mean my PCA is fitting. X is not defined. Now it has worked, my X has worked. And now just let us see the result how it is. So you got an array of PCA, based on the variance again. So components are 2. Okay, so now let me do scatter plot of result of the first one and second one, right? So everything of 0 and x y is result of everything in first one. Okay, and for each each record and each word, enumerate of words, for every word we thought, right? Plot dot annotate. This is why I'm doing, because I want to annotate each word in the vector. If I just show the scatter plot, it will work, but it will not show you which is what. So that's why I'm trying to show that. Otherwise I'll just show plot dot show. Yeah, so you got it, but which vector is what you don't know, right? That's why I'm just trying to annotate each word each vector word, the number of words. Annotate plot dot annotate the word comma the xy thing equal to result of each 0 result of each 1. Now if I say plot dot show, first scatter, annotate, and then show. Yeah, so if I see now my word to vector embedding, with respect to vectors, I could say world and wide are near, and then what India and pandemic are near, COVID is very far, term of arrived spread is arrived and spread is near. So you can say arrived and spread are nearest vectors, world and wide are nearest vectors, you know uh, India and pandemic are nearest vectors, COVID is a far vector. Okay, from all these things. So it has tried to build the embedding based on the semantic understanding of the corpus which I gave initially, the 4 sentences alone. Based on that, it has tried to scatter and show the nearest words, nearest understanding based on the understanding of the context words. So that is how I could say word to vec words, and also you can visualize those things in the similar fashion. It's a nice concept, and you can go on to implement it in the real time. It has a great scope of implementation in deep learning algorithms along with text. Okay, and there are other libraries like fast text, which is also similar to word2vec but not exactly word2vec. The difference is fast text also takes into consideration the the character level embeddings. Currently word2vec is just word2vec. Fast text is not just words but also the character level. If I just say GUI, no so it also tries to find UI as a similar word. GUI and UI may not be similar, but based on the character level understanding, you can say GUI and UI, graphical user interface and user interface, are both near words. That is how fast text works. So you can also check out that. So even that's available in Gensim. So word2vec and fast text. So it's good. Go on to implement on the real time data. And the example of king minus man plus woman equal to queen. This representation of word2vec was happening as I was saying in the initial, right? So this works with GloVe model. GloVe is Google's word2vec model. You can download based on the dimension you want and implement and just try to fetch. You need not train it. You just need to use it. That's all. You need not train. Just use it. Just use it and try to get this combination plus minus thing, and you will get queen. So it's a good example. You will feel good. So just take it as an exercise or understanding methodology. So you will feel comfortable. Good, and thanks, guys. Thank you, everyone.
To know more, follow and subscribe to Upgrad.